is Dave. This is small Dave, Bruce from Amplify, talking to the big Dave Graney,
Yeah,
who's a
enormous.
massive world superstar with 48 Grammys. Should have, but he doesn't have. But he's in heaven they'll give them to him.
Yeah.
All right, so I usually split this up into a few different ways. I know Johnny wanted me to get into the show, but before I do, I just wanted for anyone that doesn't know Dave Graney, someone's been living under a rock. I usually begin with sort of a brief introduction, a question asking you to describe your journey so far. How does Dave Graney, with such a vast background,
Mm.
in music and life in general, answer a question like that?
Well, I grew up in regional South Australia, Mount Gambier. My father was a house painter for the public buildings. My mother brought up six kids, so very blue collar, working class family. Didn't go to university. I was obsessed with football when I was a kid, and then about 14, 15, sort of that transferred to obsession with music and just consumed rock culture all the time in the classic rock period, the kind of 70s, and really loved punk rock, and that kind of brought me into the idea of actually, becoming, a player in music or whatever with friends, and you know, fucked around for about 10 years. A band called the Moodists, went to the UK, with contemporaries like the Scientists, the Birthday Party, the Go-Betweens, the Triffids, and then started Dave Graney and the Coral Snakes in London, and came back to Australia. Dave Graney and the Coral Snakes went till about the end of '97. That was our most kind of dealing with record industry as it was existing then type thing, recording on tape, and when there were lots of record shops and record music magazines and music on TV, all that kind of stuff. Experienced that. Got a gold record for that. Got an ARIA Award for Best Male Artist in 1996. Sort of late 90s, the record business began to kind of atomize and crumble,
Sure.
and here we are today. I've released about 40 albums, or
Unbelievable.
probably about a record every year since, you know, uh,
Unbelievable. There's
19 anyway. Yeah.
there's hours of interview here, and I've got to tie it up in just a couple of minutes. But that was a pretty succinct sort of you know um, uh, description.
Well, I like
Um,
to tell people I come from a blue collar
what?
regional background because most music in Australia is made by private school people who don't have to, you know, uh, that they're
Yeah, they don't have to struggle.
they're filled with confidence from their background.
Sure, sure. I'm a 50s born, one of six boys, Catholic, in a very poor household,
Mm.
as we all sort of were. We didn't think of it back in those days, sort of thing. So, there'd be a lot of interesting discussion around, black and white, and
Yeah.
even those 70s era where, you'd go to three bands a night. You just go to one and then you'd hop out one, and that's all you do. You wouldn't be going and watching anything, or you wouldn't be going and experiencing major
Well,
stuff.
well, Dave, there wasn't much choice.
Nah,
There
nah.
was
I
football and music.
I did a course with Gadinsky in the 70s, late 70s probably, or maybe 81 or something or other. Some lawyer came out from America, and there was some sort of a course that he was sitting at and I was sitting at, and I noticed that our paths changed after that. He became a super duper star, and I just stayed as just someone on the side of the road.
Hmm.
But anyhow, but they're big discussions,
Hmm.
and they're interesting discussions, especially for today when people are just so focused on social media and streaming and numbers and all this sort of stuff. When really it was a lot purer back then, and you just got pissed and you just went and watched a band and got messy and had a
Yeah.
fight and came home. Listen, the other thing the before I get on to the show, the other thing is there's a mini series that you should make, obviously, because they say behind every good man's a great woman, and you've got one there. How possibly does that even I can't even comprehend how you would collaborate with your partner who's a she's not a backing singer. An absolute muso in her own right and a drummer. So, ultimately that's just another person because they go right off. How has that worked for the last 40, 50 years?
Yeah, well, Clare Moore, who is my
Clare
partner,
Moore.
plays the drums. Yeah, yeah. Well, I think it's harder in music if you have a partner who isn't of that world,
Probably.
because you have to you have to leave your life, go out into that irrational kind of rock and roll world, then come home and explain it, and
Yeah,
you can't explain it.
that's right. You've
You
got
have
to
to
tour when
explain
the
it.
mortgage has to be paid, and
Yeah.
they don't understand.
If you have to explain it, you will eventually stop doing it because So we've never had to explain it.
God, that's, I mean, like I say, there's probably a mini series in it because all the different experiences you've had together over the course of time. I'm sure you must have had your ups and downs and
Well,
run-ins and
it'd be like Carney people. You could have a mini series, but you'd be like show people, like Carney people who
yeah, probably. I,
burying money in their backyard, and
I, I,
they're not like normal people. You can't kind of
if
say everything.
if this was an inappropriate sort of interview, I'd sort of ask if whether you have an open marriage or not, because I would imagine that both of you would have had plenty of opportunity in the last 40 years, especially over there in London and
All
Britain,
right, yeah.
to have fun. But we won't go into that because this is there's 9-year-old kids that are starting music, listening to what we're talking about. All right, so let's have a quick squiz now at the event celebrating Lou Reed, the Velvet Underground and Nico's coming up next month in Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane, Adelaide. What are you looking forward to? What can the fans expect?
Well, it's got four singers. I'm one of the singers, so don't hang it all on me. It's got Robert Forster, who was once in the Go-Betweens, Mick
Fabulous.
Harvey, who was once in the
Yeah,
Party Boys Next Door, and the Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds, and his own solo career, and Rob Snarsky from the Black Eyed Susans.
great singers.
It's a great band of people. Paul McDonald on guitar probably put it together, or mainly Sydney people. So aside from Robert Forster in Brisbane, the rest of us are Melbourne singers, and we're going to rehearse it up in Sydney before the show starts, and we chose our songs, and I picked songs from Lou Reed's solo career from '73 to '79, and I just want to do some up tempo kind of groovers, and I'm not going to play guitar, just sort of singing and dancing. Yeah.
How'd the concept come about? Who thought of this sort of great? Because it must be to bring people together to rehearse. It must be a costly sort of exercise
I
these
think
days. To
it's Metropolis touring, I think, and they specialise. They do shows like this all the time, so they know what venues are
how to do it, what to
appropriate.
do.
Yeah, in each city, and Paul works with them. They do kind of shows around different artists, and I think they work with Steve Kilbey a bit and the church, and
Yeah,
I think Steve and some of the other Paul McDonald on guitar and a few of the others work with Steve Kilbey on some of his shows. Yeah.
and yeah, obviously they come up with these are all old timers, so they come up with some of them are all past now, so there's probably less of a people to choose from. But
Yes. Yeah.
how do you? But it's interesting to think how you all get together, how you all get along, because
Oh,
ultimately you're all independent sort of
yeah.
artists.
Probably won't get along. Yeah. I think.
Perfect.
I hope
Four shows. Four.
hopefully there'll be a bit of conflict and
Yeah, I
competition.
hate your guts. Just turn up. What influence did Lou Reed have on you? Because he had an influence on all of us, obviously, that were around
Yeah,
at that
well,
time.
I think everybody loves the Velvet Underground period, and they're very influential in, kind of alternative music, especially over the last 30, 40 years. That, it's peak glamorous New York from the 1940s to the 1960s, Velvet Underground, hanging around at Andy Warhol's factory, just so much photography of them, fantastic
Yeah,
photography as well, so
yeah.
well documented,
And the look.
just the glamour of it and
Yeah.
the ambition, and they were kind of like household pets in a way, and they made distinctly great albums. You know, each one quite different, and
Yeah.
each album probably spawned a dozen kind of indie bands. You know, some really harsh ones coming out of White Light, White Heat. Some introspective singer-songwriters coming out of the third album, and pop kind of ones coming out of Loaded, and you know, all different ones. And then Lou Reed had his solo career, you know, with his first album done in the UK, and then the second one, which had the magic touch of David Bowie coming along to
Yep.
repay his influences from Lou Reed, and bringing along the genius Mick Ronson on guitar, and
Yeah. Yeah.
just the great players on it. Herbie Flowers, the bass player, who did two bass lines on Walk on the Wild Side, which is a classic roll call of characters from Andy Warhol's Factory. Yeah, I got on in the as a teenager listening to
As we
Transform,
all did. As we
and,
all
and
did.
then the heavy metal kind of drama of Rock and Roll Animal. I really loved that, and probably heard the Velvet Underground later. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Have you worked with the guys before? Have you worked with these singers before?
A little bit. I've worked with Mick Harvey on a couple of projects. Not
Not
so.
not as collaborations though, just in shows where, one after the other, or as collaborations.
I've worked with him. Actually, my partner Claire worked with Mick on a album of covers for Robert Forster
Okay.
in the late in the 90s. I've worked done a bit of work and just old friends with Robert Forster and Mick Harvey, and I think with Rob Snarsky, I worked on a similar show to Scott Walker from the Walker Brothers, and that had several singers in it. Yeah,
Wow. Wow. And the tickets selling well?
I think they seem to be adding shows
Good.
from then, but I don't have to worry about that. I'm just one of the singers. Yeah,
That's and don't you love it? Don't you love it?
I do love it.
There's
Yes,
nothing worse than having to take with, I would think the one universal thing about musos is they hate thinking about ticket sales.
that's right. Yeah,
That's from the start to the finish.
yeah.
And some of them, actually, who was at the time? I was interviewing from the Stranglers, Hugh from the Stranglers, and he was saying that U2 in their Las Vegas thing, where they were doing 50,000 seaters, had to put 10 shows on at the end of the tour to make some money. So
Really.
that's what he said. That's how expensive it is to put everything together and to bring everything, to fruition.
Mm.
So,
Yeah,
listen, let's ask you just a little bit about how would you describe your sound?
my own sound.
Yeah, how would you describe your natural, normal sound? And
I
how it's
suppose
changed, I suppose, over the years,
I don't
if it
know.
has.
I don't know whether it's changed much. Usually, you're just trying to do one thing and do it in a different way or do it better. So I'll probably try to do it better. I like songs with grooves, and I like songs with street language, and I like them to have a bit of fizz and drama to them, and yeah, I was informed by a lot of. I liked punk rock, but I also liked a lot of R&B, and I'm much more from that background than from, say, a Beatles. Sweating over a classic pop song
Yep.
arrangement. I'm much more into getting a groove and keeping it goofy kind of way. Yeah.
And your current, I suppose, album, the soft and sexy sound, is that right? Is it the last
That's
one?
from 1995. That
Yeah, the 30th anniversary.
we did a 21 date tour this year with our 90s band Dave Graney and the Coral Snakes. Clare Moore and I put out two albums in 2024, but this year has been retrospective in nature, doing the Coral Snakes tour. And next year we're going to put out another album from myself and Claire. And
How long's that going to go on for, Dave? You're going to die one day. You're going to bring out an album a year
yeah,
until
well, I hope so. Yeah. Well, Bob Starkey,
you don't age.
Bob Starkey passed away
He
recently
did. He
from
did.
Skyhooks,
Rest in peace.
and there were many heartfelt tributes to him. And Ross Wilson was on Instagram, and it was touching that he said Bongo died with his boots on.
God bless. He's also got a 50-year thing coming up. Ross.
No, he's been doing his 50-year thing for a couple of years. I think he just never stops, Ross Wilson. So yeah, I want to die with my boots on. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. Well, I hope you've got them on because it could happen any time, they say.
That's right. Yeah.
And after so many years, so many albums, and you're doing one a year, does the music and songwriting still come out just naturally, or is it always hard to produce, or has that changed over time?
I think if you're a songwriter or a performer, at some point, if you're lucky, you just get a flow. You get a tone and a flow, and then you just tap it.
And then you just hold on and ride it all the way
That's
home.
right. Yeah, yeah.
And then when you get to like Sinatra, when you forget the words, everyone in the audience sings them back to you
Yeah, well,
because they
if you're lucky, yeah,
if you're lucky. They did that one night to him,
Hmm.
and someone yelled out, "We've got your back, Frank," or something like that, and they sang the words.
yeah,
Okay, one serious question, then some shit questions to finish.
yeah.
Advice. You've gone through from, selling vinyl to selling CDs to, this stupid streaming process that we have that is probably anti most artists, and social media. Going from just working out publicity, backing the truck up, AC/DC. That was your publicity to, now you've got to make TikTok videos and all that sort of stuff. What advice do you have for a muso these days, sort of
Yeah.
trying to enter the market?
You're probably better asking a 20-year-old. They probably know more about the modern world than me. But if I was giving advice, I guess it would be to a younger person. You just have to make sure you like what you're doing and
But work hard,
enjoy.
play a lot.
And there's the playwright Samuel Beckett who did Waiting for Godot and Endgame and that. And he's famous for saying, "Try again, fail better."
Yeah, that's. I call failure discovery, so I agree with that. Okay, these are shit questions. They'll be pretty quick. They don't have to be big answers, but
Yeah.
what's the craziest thing you've ever done? Most people don't answer it, so you don't have
Oh,
to
right.
answer it if you don't want to.
Yeah, yeah.
They immediately go to something illegal, I think, and they just say, "No, I'd rather not answer it." What's the one topic you can talk about for hours?
Oh, yeah. Well, that's depends what company you're in, because if it's someone who lets you be boring, you're lucky. So
Well, you can come
I
back
can
here.
talk about be boring about 60s, 70s football, South Australian and Victorian, and
Well, we've got to have another discussion, Dave, because
I
I'm a
couldn't I couldn't talk about the AFL period at all. I think the AFL is pretty decadent, and they've killed the golden goose. I think, yeah.
I don't think people realise today how hated, Victorians hated South Australia and vice
Yeah.
versa back then. There
And
wasn't,
they've lost all of that energy. They don't
but-
have that anymore.
and and
There used to be,
and and the competitiveness between the belief that the South Australians had that their footballers were just as good as the VFL footballers,
yeah,
and the VFL thinking that the sun shone out of their arse and everything sort of surrounded them. But you realise, if you're old enough that that took place, even though not many people talk about it now. Now it's all media. Now it's all a commentator working on five different shows saying the same thing five different times, and
yeah, far too much media. Yeah, they've lost all of that fierce kind of tribalism, and you've got the Gold Coast Suns and Greater Western Sydney. You know, big deal.
no, that's right. They're trying to extend the market out in markets that really will get to like lukewarm.
Yeah.
When the hot markets that they could, really get something out of, but they're not really interested in the football, really. They're interested
No.
in the money now. So once upon a time when no one was making money except for, the guy at the top, they could afford for everybody to fight football. But now they can't afford it because they've got to try and make money. So they put on shows. It's just a stupid thing. I think in my eyes, I think it's worse. Football's worse than NRL. I think NRL have a much smarter way of going about things than we do.
Yeah.
What's the thing you like most about yourself?
Uh, uh, I don't know. I've never thought about that. No. No.
Well, there's nothing you like about yourself, Dave? The big
Well,
DG.
no, I'm not that
What
reflective.
about an album a year? That's pretty good. The fact
Oh
that
yeah,
I can
that's
bring
pretty
out
good.
an album a year, 40 albums is unbelievable.
Yeah. Yeah, I
It
guess so.
is.
Yeah.
All right, this is it now. These are all time, or these are the questions people hate the most.
Hmm.
These are all time or just today. It doesn't really matter. Favorite album?
It would probably be by Duke Ellington or by Richard Hell or either a jazz album or a country album or a punk rock album.
Favorite artist?
I would say Steely Dan.
Great band. Favorite movie?
Well, it would be Chinatown or Big Wednesday. Oh, but it would probably be A Matter of Life and Death by Powell and Pressburger.
I've never heard of it.
It's a movie where David Niven is a pilot and his plane is crashing in the war and he falls in love with a woman on radio and then he's supposed to go to heaven, but because he's fallen in love, he doesn't. He's in limbo, and they put him on trial in heaven. And there's an actual stairway up there to heaven, and an
I'm
angel.
finding it.
It's a brilliant movie, very easy.
I'm finding it. I've never heard of it, and I thought I
Beautiful.
saw every movie, but I've never heard of that, and I'm finding it. Favorite place to visit?
Um, well, I just have a hankering to be in some environments sometimes, and often it's a kind of I don't know, empty kind of desert environments like
Are you a meditator?
no, just South Australia in general. I'm not a meditator, no. Or yeah, somewhere a motel near a beach or something, but beach with
Sounds
not many people.
sounds very meditative anyway. Favorite venue to play? You would have played one or two in your time.
I played some good ones on the this recent Coral Snakes tour. The Avoca Beach Theatre in
Oh yeah.
Central Coast is beautiful, family-run place, and we played. There was another one in Pomona. It's another old theatre on the Gold Coast, I think, and and we played one in Chatswood that was really great. Northern Sydney, really enjoyed that. Yeah.
Again, I've interviewed arena artists, and you ask them about their favourite venue, and they'll talk about they stopped in a town on the way from so and so to so and so in the States, and they found a bar, and there was like 40 people there or something or other, and it was the best time. That's the one thing they remember.
Oh
So
yeah.
purists enjoy the small times. Favourite food?
Well, I like to have I like to have porridge for breakfast. Yeah.
Porridge. Is that something that's a kickback to the six? Because that sounds like six children. When we used to eat, we used to get, bowls of minced meat and bloody, chili con carne, anything that my father was a Marine, so a cook in the
Oh,
army, anything that he could cook in this, pot that we
oh
could.
well, porridge took too long to cook for my family, I think. But no, it's a over the last 20 years, like so, I guess. But
Probably healthy. It's probably
most
healthy.
for you, yeah. But I do
But
like Vietnamese food or Mexican food, yeah.
favorite drink?
Ginger beer.
What's the brand name? The brand name one?
Yeah, either the Bundaberg one or the one from around northern New South Wales. Yeah.
Favorite person in history apart from me?
Uh, uh, well, I find the yeah, I don't know, the poet and critic William Apollinaire from Paris. I guess he would have been pretty good. Yeah, Apollinaire.
That'll do. That's good. And last question, and I don't know, you're probably a clean skin. Do you have any tattoos? No.
Yeah, I have one tattoo. Yeah,
And it's obviously your favorite.
yeah, yeah.
How,
That's right.
how long ago did you get that?
Early '80s on somewhere around near the Waterside Workers Hotel in.
And you're happy you've got it, or was that one of those things that you got when, someone you felt really inspired and
It was a
it
bit
makes no
silly.
sense now?
All my friends were getting
It
tattoos.
doesn't say Julie or something like that, does it,
This
stupidly?
terrible kind of skull with bat's wings. It's just terrible. Yeah.
Just magnificent. And does anyone ever see it, or do you always
Uh, yeah, if I got my share.
Claire?
Yeah, yeah, that's right. Yeah,
That's it.
yeah.
That's it, man. That's it. That's it. That was wonderful. And I really didn't know how to talk to you in a sense because you've got such a background and such a this. But I always find that most of the blokes that have been around a while are simple. They're just normal and
Mhm.
they just do everything because they've been through all the bloody heady times and all that sort of stuff, and they just can't be bothered. And so they just keep on going. It'll be interesting to talk to Claire and find out whether, her answers,
Yeah.
like on the Newlywed Show, whether her answers match yours.
Well, I have to get in touch when our album comes out next year. Then.
Absolutely, you do so. David Amplify. And any time you want to have an in-depth where I can, really go deep and get you crying in the first 10 minutes about what happened in South Australia, I'm up for that. So
Try your hardest.
I'm up for, you don't know me, man. I know searching questions. I've got them
Okay.
all.
All right.
Good on you.
Okay. See
Thanks,
you.
brother. All the
Yeah.
best. Good luck with this show.
Yeah. No worries.
Bye-bye.
See ya.